Netflix's Ozark Season 3 Episode 4 starts off with Marty, Jason Bateman, in the back of an SUV and blindfolded. It cuts to Ben, Tom Pelfrey, trying to call the cops, but Ruth, Julia Garner, stops him. He's frantically asking who the hell are the people who grabbed Marty when Ruth tells him to ask his sister. Wendy, Laura Linney, gets a call letting her know what happened to Marty. Helen's with her and claims she had nothing to do with this. But after her conversation with Ruth, she could very well have been involved. Marty's taken to a hangar and placed on a private plane. Meanwhile, Ruth and Ben meet with Wendy and Helen and describe what they saw and what the men looked like. At the same time Marty's being taken out of an SUV, Wendy and Ben are having a talk. She explains she wants to keep him out of it, but Ben freaks out and demands she tell him what's going on. She confesses she can't because these people are dangerous. Ben and Wendy are outside having this conversation, and Helen's watching them. She calls someone and informs them, "I think you'd better get here as soon as possible." Things are getting complicated. Wendy finally tells her brother she works for a Mexican drug cartel. Wendy's trying to get Helen to call Navarro, but she won't do it. Wendy starts to call him herself and Helen seems surprised she has his number. She asks Wendy where she got the number, but it doesn't matter because the number's disconnected. Helen asks when she last spoke with Navarro and wonders about his mood. Wendy says he seemed fine. Helen tells Wendy there's nothing she can do but wait. Marty awakens in a jail-like room, still blindfolded and with his hands tied. Two men retrieve him and take him to meet Navarro. Before Navarro even says a word, Marty begins talking about how he has a plan, swearing it's a good plan. Marty realizes they haven't been laundering to Navarro's satisfaction, but he has been under constant pressure from the FBI. With each word Marty speaks, Navarro creeps closer and closer to Marty. Navarro finally speaks and catches Marty off guard when he asks, "What do you want, Marty?" Marty hesitates and then admits he doesn't understand the question. The men take him back to his prison cell and turn on a bright light which makes it hard to see. Ruth confesses to Ben she doesn't think she can do all this without Marty. He tries to make her laugh and, surprisingly, that works. Helen, Wendy, Ruth, and Ben are sitting around when Charlotte, Sophia Hublitz, and Jonah, Skyla Gärtner, come home. Jonah blurts out, "My allergies are acting up." That wasn't suspicious at all. Charlotte questions where Marty is and Wendy says he's in Kansas City on business. Charlotte and Jonah know she's lying. Later at the casino, Ruth asks Special Agent Maya Miller, Jessica Francis Dukes, if she can help her since Marty's out of town and she's in charge right now. Miller seems suspicious because Marty didn't tell her he was going out of town. The next morning Charlotte and Jonah once again ask Wendy about their dad. She reveals he went down to Mexico and Jonah asks right away if he was kidnapped. Continuing with the lies, she says he went down there to talk to their boss. Wendy notices her brother Ben is standing there with them and asks him to step outside. She immediately asks him what he's thinking and he counters with, "What the F*** were you thinking?" They know so much. Helen lets Wendy know Marty's alive but that's all she knows. Wendy asks who told her that and Helen says one of Navarro's men. Wendy quickly deduces he wouldn't just say that. Helen informs Wendy the boss also said it's business as usual. Helen believes he's testing them to see if they'll succeed, and if they do it could determine what will happen to Marty. Marty's still in his cell singing a song when he has a flashback to his childhood. The memory shows he's doing the same thing but pacing. He and his mother are in the hospital and his dad's just been admitted. While walking to the vending machine he spots an arcade video game. He's brought back to the present time when men come in, order him on his knees and tie up his hands. Navarro comes down and asks Marty if he loves Wendy and he responds yes. Navarro asks if he trusts Wendy. He responds yes, again. Navarro wants to know why, if that's true, he spied on her phone. Marty claims it was to protect her. Navarro thinks Marty fears Wendy because he doesn't understand her. Marty asks if he knows her. Navarro says yes because he knows what she wants. Sighing, Marty asks, "And what's that?" Navarro replies, "She wants it all."